Happy Friday on this Christmas Eve. Is that right? 22nd day of December 2023. I am Dan Kuntz, your host, as we slide into a 3-day weekend. It's a big one. I got family coming into town. I hope you get a chance to spend the Christmas holiday with those that you love. We got a busy show for you today, 5-star show. That's what we promised you on Fridays. We're going to deliver it. I mean, what else are you going to do, right? It's 36 degrees, kind of a misty, super light, almost imperceptible rain. This well-advertised system is working its way here. It's going to bring some snow to the mountain passes. Most of the passes are going to get some snow, with the exception of Blewett, maybe a little bit of light snow. Leavenworth could get a little bit of snow. We're going to be way too warm for that. Even though the snow level is going to be dropping by as the system rolls through our area, we're going to be in the lower 40s today. We're going to be about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So we're looking at more like rain than snow. Maybe some light snow on Monday, on Christmas morning. We shall see. That all-important forecast is coming up. Plus news, plus sports. We'll continue to preview the Seahawks and the Titans. They'll do battle on Sunday morning down there in Nashville. Eric went up to Mission Ridge yesterday. Eric Grandstrom, our sports director. Looked like it was really nice up there. Of course, this is the time of the year where Mission Ridge is open 7 days a week. There's no school. It's the holiday season. People taking some time off from work. Eric went up to Mission Ridge. We'll check in with Eric. If you missed the interview I did with Bonnie Orr yesterday on the winter solstice, if you missed it, what's the matter with you? We're going to re-air it again in the back half of the program. And we did get a chance to do Paws for Pets yesterday. Simply ran out of time. We're going to do it today. Odie the dog needs a permanent home, and you'll meet Odie with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. At 2 minutes after the hour, we do our tour. Our cameras have been wonky for the last couple of days, so we haven't been able to really do much with them. In fact, it's the same cameras we've had to use for the last couple of days because we can't get them to get ingested into the TriCaster. It's a long story. It's technical stuff. You don't care. From the roof of the Cascading, we look out over the Wenatchee Valley, and you can see the Wenatchee property. You can see a little moisture in the streets, but no big deal there. And it still makes it look Christmassy, I think, from the roof of the Cascadian. Next up on our tour, up again to the Lower Butte camera in Chelan. Looks like they may be getting a little bit of rain up there. Good morning to Lake Chelan. Good to see you on this Friday. And finally up to Billy Goat, where the sun is just starting to get the job done. It's socked in, of course, with clouds. Down there is, Pateras and Brewster and Bridgeport. Yesterday's high 39, normal 32. It was another mild day yesterday. Sunrise this morning, 7:46, sunset 4:13, 8 hours and 27 minutes of daylight, but it's 1 second longer today. We get 1 more second of daylight than we had yesterday for the longest day of the year, or the shortest since we're up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And to all of our friends in the Southern Hemisphere, happy summertime. One slide to show for you, and that is, of course, your holiday travel forecast for the mountain passes. Right now, as I check, Stevens, they tell us, is going to get between 7 to 11 inches of snow, but it's going to fall down over a fairly extended period of time, basically from about 8 o'clock this morning and about an hour from now to about 5 this afternoon. Then it's going to taper off. So it sounds like a lot of snow, 7 to 11 inches, but it's going to get spread out over an extended period of time. So if you're traveling on Stevens, you're going to find some minor inconveniences, but the DOT is going to be all over that. The passes are going to be really busy. Snoqualmie Pass, you folks, about 4 to 8 inches of snow. Again, same time period from about 9 o'clock this morning till about 5 o'clock this afternoon for I-90. So Stevens, anywhere from 7 to 11 inches of snow today. Snoqualmie Pass, about 4 to 8 inches of snow. Almost no snow at all in Blewett, maybe an inch or 2 tops. And again, Leavenworth, Lake Wenatchee, Plain, you could get, an inch of snow or so today, not here in the Wenatchee Valley. So here you go. From the National Weather Service, low clouds and fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. It's also going to be a little breezy. Right now, the snow level is at 4,400 feet. By the end of the day, it's going to be about 2,800 feet. But as you can see, with a high of 41, way too warm for any kind of snow. And the system will be exiting the area overnight tonight. It's going to scour out the skies. That means the overnight low going to dip down there about 29 with clear skies. Bountiful sunshine for Saturday, the 23rd. Lots of sunshine, calm wind, not bad at all, but no moisture in the air. 38 for the high on Saturday. Saturday night, cloudy. 26 for the overnight low. Clouds will be hanging around on Sunday with a high of 33 for Christmas Eve, Sunday night. Slight chance of a snow flurry just slight. The snow level is going to be on the valley floor. Snow level is going to be about 900 feet on Sunday night as Santa makes his rounds, but we don't think we're going to get any snow. There is a slight chance of a little bit of light snow on Christmas morning. Outside of that, on Monday, we'll have partly sunny skies and a high of 35. And then it's back to work on Tuesday with some rain and mild temperatures. All of these temperatures, with the exception of Sunday, are definitely warmer than normal this time of the year, and it's going to be mild and wet for most of next week as we bid adieu to 2023. At your forecasts in 1 minute, the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. It's cloudy, it's foggy, it's kind of misty. 36 degrees, will be lower 40s today with some sun breaks and some wind. Snow in the passes, but we're also going to see a little bit of rain. And I'm afraid a white Christmas, at least here in the Wenatchee Valley, is not going to happen. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A site survey could be completed come spring for a proposed 4,400-acre solar farm that some folks want to build up on Badger Mountain. On Wednesday, the development firm Aurora Solar LLC told the State Energy Facilities Site Evaluation Council it could complete its initial survey of where they want to put the solar farm next month. The developers acknowledge that the site is currently prohibited under Douglas County zoning, but they're pursuing a process through the State Energy Council that would allow the governor to override local controls. All three county commissioners and a lot of Douglas County residents have voiced opposition to the development, citing species habitat and loss of rural land. If they do get around to build it, the Badger Mountain facility could generate up to 200 megawatts from the sun. The Conservation District for Chelan County has some money to spend, about $4 million in funding for forest health and wildfire preparedness lined up for the new year, and it wants to partner with rural landowners on some of those projects. The Cascadia Conservation District says about $2 million is available in cost sharing for landowners in the upper Wenatchee Valley. They want to reduce hazardous fuels on and around their properties. There's also $1.7 million in state awards for forest health and resilience projects like creating defensible space, wood chipping programs, prescribed burn equipment, and a pilot program that could help residents turn vegetation into biochar. You can learn more and apply to participate in some of those programs by going to their district's website, cascadiacd.org. Next year, folks in our area are going to have a chance to name a new apple variety. Yeah. Just like the successful Cosmic Crisp apple, the new strain is known now as WA 64, and that's not real marketable, so they want a name before they actually put it on the market. Washington State University, where tree fruit researchers developed the new hybrid, they plan to open the naming process to a public contest come spring. WA 64 is a cross between Honeycrisp and the Crips Pink apple variety. It's the fourth new apple to be released by Washington State. The Cosmic Crisp, which was also developed at Wazoo, underwent a similar naming contest before it was rolled out on the market. And Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison spent some time last week in one of the most remote areas in his jurisdiction, up in the Holden Village area. The town of Holden, which is of course above Lake Chelan, is prone to roadway avalanche danger. In the wintertime, they get a lot of snow there. Morrison and department staffers, including Chief of Special Operations Ryan Moody, visited Holden Village to learn more about the risks and strategies for dealing with snowslides and their aftermath. They partnered on the tour with the U.S. Forest Service, the Holden Village Retreat Center, and Rio Tinto, who's the mining company, that's the mining company that once operated on the village site. That's the news. At 11 minutes after the hour, we're going to be here working, not real hard. Everybody wants their 3-day weekend, but we're going to have a newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5, 6, and 10 for the news. If that doesn't work out for you, it'll be up and running on our Facebook page. You can watch the news on our app. You can watch the news on our homepage. You can watch the news on our YouTube page. You can go over to your neighbor's house and watch the news. Doesn't matter to me. Just be informed. And if there's something out there you think warrants our attention, get a hold of us. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Sports, including previewing the Seahawks and the Titans, is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Christmas Eve edition on the NCW Life channel.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to Blueberry Hills to experience some real treats. Take a look at our homemade cream pies, our amazing cheesecakes, and don't forget our famous banana pudding. Remember, we're more than just great treats. People come from all over the world to experience what has been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Bob File Boats and Motors is your local Yamaha headquarters. For more than 30 years, Yamaha outboards have delivered far more than superior power, performance, and efficiency. Yamaha owners get something that can't be measured in horsepower or RPM. Legendary Yamaha reliability. Find the Yamaha outboard that fits your life at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
13 minutes after the hour, of course, Geno Smith has missed the last couple of days, last couple of games with a groin injury, but it looks like he will be the starting quarterback come Sunday morning. Of course, he thought he was going to play. He thought he was going to start against the Eagles on Monday night. He didn't. When Coach Pete Carroll told Geno Smith he was not going to play, Smith said that was a hard pill to swallow.
It was tough. It was tough, just preparing myself and doing everything that I possibly can to be ready to play, feeling like I was ready to play, expecting to go out there and play, and then, Coach making that decision. We got to live with it. And obviously I was hurt by it. I want to go out there and compete. I want to play any chance that I get. But I do understand that he's got to make the decision for the team and also for me, to kind of protect me from myself at times. So had to deal with it and move on and go out there and support the guys. So that was my main focus once I learned that, I wouldn't be able to play.
Of course, we all know what Drew Lock did on Monday night with that game-winning drive. Geno Smith says it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Oh, that was awesome. So excited for Drew. Man, that was really cool to see just him in that moment. And for all the guys, really, that was a big win for us. Big time game, Monday Night Football against a really good team. I thought Drew played really well throughout the game, and then for him to close it out the way he did, for all the guys to make the plays the way they did, man, I was just so happy, man. I couldn't, it was one of those nights where you'll remember for the rest of your life, man. Just seeing him in that moment and just the way that he handled all that was real cool to see.
Tennessee runs the ball a lot. Why not? They got Derrick Henry, who's an all-pro running back, one of the best in the league. Safety Quandre Diggs says, yeah, he's going to be tough to deal with.
I mean, he has a game or two like that a year, and he still continues to put up crazy numbers. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Derrick Henry. He's one of the best to do it. You know what I mean? He continues to be tough to tackle. He continues to go out there and make his mark, and, you know, he's the identity of that team. So you never take him lightly. You know what he's going to bring. He's going to get tougher as the game goes on. So it's always a fun matchup. It's always fun to see him and just admire his work from afar.
The NFC Defensive Player of the Week was Julian Love. He had 2 interceptions, of course, against the Eagles on Monday night. Quandre Diggs says good for Love, but he says the unsung hero of the Seattle defense is Mike Jackson.
You know what you're going to get out of Jack. You know what I mean? It's never been a surprise. Since he stepped in here in 2021, I've always been a fan of his game. And, you know, it's just, for me, it's crazy because I think a lot of y'all don't even know. When I got traded here, Detroit signed Jack. Jack wore 28 in Detroit, and then he ended up here. So, like, it's just the parallels in life and, you know, the things that, how small the world is and, you know, the people that you be around. But he's always been a hard worker. He's always been somebody that, you know, knows what he's doing. He's going to be in the right spot. If he gets beat, he's going to go make the next play. And just being able to see him just be physical on that edge, I mean, he can do it, you know what I mean? He can tackle, he can cover, he can go get the ball. So I'm always excited to see him out there, and, you know, I always have the ultimate trust in him.
Seahawks and the Titans Sunday morning, 10 a.m. on CBS. Kraken back on the ice tomorrow night. They're in Anaheim to take on the Mighty Ducks. It'll be at 5 o'clock Saturday night on Root Sports Northwest. And they have one more game next week, and then the Winter Classic at T-Mobile Park against Vegas on New Year's Day. A couple of women's college basketball games on the schedule before the holiday break. Eastern is at Wyoming today at noon, and 20th ranked Lady Bulldogs Gonzaga, they'll host New Mexico at 1 o'clock in the Kennel. Eastmont girls picked up another win during their holiday showcase last night. They beat Walla Walla 53-51. They went 2-0 this week. Good for the Lady Wildcats. Spanaway Lake defeated Wenatchee. Chelan girls beat Liberty Bell. OMAC, their girls basketball team, edged Quincy by just a point. Cashmere quieted Cascade. Highland beat Orville, and Tenasca took care of Jenkins out of Chewelah 69-36. Boys scores. Eastmont boys also victorious last night. They beat Spanaway Lake 72-62. Cheney dumped Wenatchee. Liberty Bell surprised Chelan in boys basketball. OMAC beating Quincy. Cashmere knocked off Cascade. Orville beat Highland, and Tenasca topped Jenkins out of Chewelah 72-28. You want to go watch some basketball? Here's the schedule today and tomorrow. Pasco is at Eastmont at 1 o'clock in girls basketball. Wenatchee will host Walla Walla. Tenasca travels to Colville. Okanagan will host Reardon, and Brewster is at Napavine. Brewster remains on the west side tomorrow to take on Rainier at noon. Boys basketball, Wenatchee hosts Meade. It's a matinee, 2:30 at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium. Eastmont will take on Monroe, and Tenasca will visit Colville. 7:30 tonight, Reardon and Okanagan. Brewster at Napavine. The Bears finish up their pre-holiday schedule tomorrow at 1:30 at Rainier. And our very own Eric Grandstrom spent the yesterday morning up at Mission Ridge. He interviewed a local skier who made the U.S. national ski team in ski cross. And we're going to have that story for you next week. But while Eric was up there, he thought he'd check in on the ski conditions.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from the NCW Life Channel. I'm Eric Grandstrom here at Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort. It's a resort just out of town in Wenatchee. You can rise up above the fog and come up here for some sunshine and for some white powder. In addition to daily skiing and night skiing coming up next week, Mission Ridge also plans for a party the final weekend of the year with live music on Saturday night, the 30th, and then a big celebration for New Year's Eve on the 31st. Find out more about it at missionridge.com.
And now I know why I didn't see Eric at the office yesterday. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this 22nd day of December, let's do some holidays. If you live in Zimbabwe and you're watching the show, Happy Unity Day in Zimbabwe. It's National Date Nut Bread Day. It's Forefathers Day. It's Mathematics Day. By far, my worst subject in school was mathematics. I barely got by. Can't balance my checkbook. National Cookie Exchange Day, but today we celebrate people who are, shall we say, vertically challenged. Today is National Short Person Day. In case you're curious, in the United States, the average height for a male is 5 feet 9 inches. The average female height is 5'4" so 5'9" average for guys, 5'4" average for ladies in the United States. Short people do have some advantages. Taller people have a tendency to have shorter lifespans, and the heart has to work harder to pump the blood through a taller person's body. And you're tallest in the morning when you first get up. Over a 24-hour period, you actually get shorter as you move around and the spinal discs compress and decompress throughout the day. So your height actually changes a little bit throughout the course of the day, but you're actually at the tallest in the morning when you first get out of bed. Famous short people. Charlie Chaplin was only 5 feet 5 inches tall. Prince, the late great Prince Rogers Nelson, he was only 5'3". Dolly Parton's only 5 feet tall, just 5 feet tall. Danny DeVito was 4 feet 10 inches tall. James Madison, President of the United States, 5 feet 4 inches tall, short. You think we'd elect a president who's only 5 feet 4 inches nowadays? Yuri Gagarin, the first man ever to travel into space, the Russian cosmonaut, he was only 5 feet 2 inches tall. And Lady Gaga, I did not know this, Lady Gaga is only 5'1". For those of you who don't know, I'm 6'3". Well, I'm sure there's a National Tall Person's Day there too somewhere. And we will move forward with today in history. Sherman's March to the Sea came to an end from Atlanta to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia falls to Sherman's troops. December 22nd, 1864, he sends Abraham Lincoln a telegram saying, "Here's your Christmas present, Mr. President. We have taken Savannah." Knowing that this was going to happen, of course, Sherman's march to the sea pretty much just cut a swath, devastated everything in his path. Knowing that they were going to get taken, the mayor of Savannah and the local citizens who carried some weight, the movers and the shakers, knowing that their city was going to fall, they rode out in a bunch of horses and they met the troops and they met the general and said, "We'll cut you a deal. We'll just give you the town. We'll give it, it's yours, just take it. Just don't destroy it." And they said, "Okay, fair enough." So said, don't kill the citizens, protect the property, don't burn down the town, and we'll just let you have it. And they did. That was on this date 157 years ago today. An happy 86th birthday to the Lincoln Tunnel, the second tunnel to go underneath and connect New Jersey and Manhattan. The Holland Tunnel connects New Jersey and Manhattan in the Battery, in the lower part of Manhattan. The Lincoln Tunnel goes from Weehawken, New Jersey, under the river and into Midtown Manhattan, near the Garment District and Madison Square Garden. It was originally just one tunnel. Now there's three. One goes one way, one goes the other way, and the third tunnel in the middle has alternating lanes depending on how heavy the traffic is. The original toll to go through the Lincoln Tunnel was 50 cents when it opened in 1937, and it remained just 50 cents until 1970. And now it's $17 to go through the Lincoln Tunnel, and like all of the toll bridges and tunnels that connect Manhattan to New Jersey and the rest of New York City, it costs you $17 to go into the city. It doesn't cost you a dime to leave. And birthdays. Cornelius McGillicuddy, who changed his name to Connie Mack, and probably not a bad idea. Born in the state in 1862, he owned and managed the Philadelphia Athletics for the first 50 years of the franchise existence. Now, nowadays in Major League Baseball, if you own a franchise, you can't manage the franchise. They have rules about that, but they didn't back in 1901. Managed the Philadelphia Athletics for 50 years. When you own the team, you can manage it back then. Not surprisingly, he holds every significant managerial record. The most wins, 3,731. The most losses, 3,948. The most games managed, 7,755. He managed 7,755 Major League Baseball games. That's 1,000 more than any other manager. Connie Mack, and he lived a long time. He's also famous because he managed in a three-piece suit, didn't wear a uniform. Connie Mack, born in the state in 1862. Again, we don't normally do first ladies, but we do the occasional exception, and Lady Bird Johnson is one of those. She was born in the state in 1912, of course, First Lady of the United States, the 38th First Lady of the United States. Her husband, Lyndon Baines Johnson, proposed to Lady Bird on their very first date. And when Lady Bird was just a young woman in her early 20s, her father died. She inherited his estate of about $41,000, which is pretty good money. And she invested in a radio station, which became a television station, which became kind of a network of radio and television stations all over Texas. And she took that $41,000 and turned it into $150 million. And she was a hands-on owner. She was a daily hands-on owner. She became, as a matter of fact, the first president's wife to become a millionaire in her own right. Before her husband was even elected to office, she was a millionaire. Lady Bird Johnson, born in the state in 1912. And lefty Steve Carlton, the pitcher I admired most growing up, is 79 years old today, the first person ever to win 4 Cy Young Awards, and outside of Lefty Grove, the greatest left-handed pitcher in baseball history. Sorry to you Sandy Koufax fans. Steve Carlton is 79 years old today. Have an opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty coming up. Plus, we got Bonnie Orr, in case you missed the interview yesterday, your winter gardening tips. Looks like it's going to be a mild winter. You can do some stuff outside in the dead of winter, which is normally not the case around here. Special thanks to our friends at Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are platinum sponsors here on the NCW Life Channel. Didn't get a chance to do it today. Yesterday, we didn't do it today. Odie the dog needs a home. It's Paws for Pets.
Hi, I'm Corley with Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager here. And this is Odie. Odie loves belly scratches. And he is about 6 months old. He's our resident adorable Santa Claus. We think that he is part Border Collie, part Husky, and maybe some Black Lab in there. I don't know, it's always kind of a fun game to guess. Because this little guy came to us as a stray, actually through a rescue partner up north who ran out of space, and so they brought him to us because we have a little bit more resources to care for him. Odie is playful, but he is also very, very mellow. He loves his toys and his stuffed animals, and he loves playing with his friends. His best friend is actually another dog we have here who looks almost exactly like him. It's kind of funny. They're like twinsies. They came from totally different places. Odie is also really smart. He knows his tricks. He knows sit, and he knows stay and down, and he's learning spin, which is kind of fun. He's a super snuggly boy, and he's just a really good level of energy. Playful, but will relax. Very treat motivated, learns things incredibly fast, and he's just a joy to have here. He is a staff and volunteer favorite, and just loves hanging out with us. As usual, we don't know how he is with cats, but he's still really young, and when they're this young, it's much easier to get them to accept other species, to get along with cats, and because they just sort of grow up with them like their brother or sister, and it's so much easier that way. He's great with other dogs, and I don't know, I think he would be just a really great overall family dog. He's just kind of got it all. If you'd like to come meet Odie, we are open Thursday through Tuesday, 11 till 6, and he would really love to meet you.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
This is the time of year we celebrate family, traditions, and great food. At Abby's, our legendary pizzas are so giant that they feed up to 6 happy family members. When you need a break from cooking, think Abby's, our place or your place. Our family is here for your family. What makes Abby's triple topper so great?
Pepperoni, Canadian bacon, ground beef.
With these premium toppings piled to the edge, it's a whole lot of pizza on sale for a very special price. And when you give the gift of Abby's, we'll give you a present too.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I've got a couple of Marxist friends on Facebook. Well, maybe they're actual commies, I don't know. But, you know, they've been posting stuff about how Russia's President Putin really is a good guy, and it's America's fault that Ukraine was invaded, yada, yada. You know, maybe these people have a point or two, but this attitude is just an example of how we ourselves react. If you like a politician, you're going to support everything he or she does, even if it's something stupid. I mean, look, you can like Putin all you want, but if you deny that the guy's committing war crimes, you're just eroding your own integrity. And you might like Biden or you might like Trump, but if they do something dumb, don't try to tell us that it isn't. Jeez. Oh, gosh. This is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
The newest generation of GMC Sierra pickups offer the most advanced technology, the strongest selection of powertrain, and everything else you need to work hard, play hard, and explore the boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley and beyond. Take a look at the latest, most luxurious and durable trucks on the market.
You will see why GMC is not your grandfather's pickup.
You want to bet, kid?
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Road, NCW Life Channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
The holiday season is here, and life is hectic. Let Merry Maids help simplify yours. You expect a lot, and Merry Maids delivers more. They'll make your home or business sparkle for holiday parties, special events, and family gatherings. They'll customize the cleaning to fit your needs and your budget. Merry Maids are cleaning experts. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Best of all, your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Visit online, merrymaids.com, and call for a free estimate. Then you can relax. It's done.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
Solstices and equinoxes, they're unavoidable. They happen 4 times a year. On Tuesday the 21st was the winter solstice. It happened at 7:27 in the evening, or will happen depending on what time you watch this. Shortest day of the year. December 21st. The next day is 1 second longer. The day after that is 2 seconds longer. The change in the daylight is incremental, but whenever there's a solstice or an equinox, Bonnie Orr pays us a visit to talk about the do's and don'ts in the world of gardening and lawn care and some of the things you can do during the dead of winter. December, January, February. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello.
Our first topic is always the weather.
I know, because we like to talk about the weather.
Pretty strong El Nino year, it looks like. And they predicted this. We talked back in September 21st, back on the equinox. They were predicting a warmer than normal winter, a considerably warmer than normal winter, and a slightly drier than normal winter. So
And
it's
I have roses in bloom.
Yeah.
I have roses in bloom. I have violets in bloom, and my mums are still colored.
And here we are, late December. Is that, when was the last time, can you recall that happening?
Oh yeah, a couple of other years we've had open winters. 2017.
Is that what you refer to them as, open winters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was because there's no snow.
And that was a weak El Nino.
Okay.
This was a strong El Nino,
Okay.
and not quite historic. Those only happen once every 50 years. But so far their batting average is really, really good. We had a slightly warmer than normal November and a slightly warmer than normal December, and they're predicting a considerably warmer than normal January and February. What do we need to know?
We can go out and garden.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, can you?
Yeah. Well, why not? You could go out and do some pruning on those shrubs that you've been fighting with all along. I mean, as long as it is open, you have to be careful out walking on the lawn because there's compaction, and that type of thing. But you could do lots of gardening tasks and get ahead.
And this is a good time to do it because the plants are just sitting there kind of sleeping.
Right,
so
and you can see their actual shape.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's not a bad idea because, especially example, my oak tree probably could use another trim job.
You're talking to the wrong person about that.
Well, but it's sleeping, right? I mean,
well,
so
I know, but it's the idea of, do oaks really need to be trimmed?
Yeah, good point there.
Okay,
I guess.
but I mean, like your shrubs that are overwhelming your sidewalk. It's time to do them, Yeah.
Any other things you can do if, in fact, we have a warmer than normal winter? What else is out there?
You could check the soil temperature. If the soil temperature is still hovering in the 40s, you could plant some late bulbs.
Just to see what happens?
Yeah, because if the soil is at least 40, the bulbs will grow.
And even if they don't, what do you have to lose, right?
Right. And here's the thing: is that even when it's cold, 4 inches down, it's 40 degrees, and so if you're digging a bulb into 6 inches, ta-da!
It's been dry. We talked about this. So we're in a long-term drought, but our annual precipitation is still well below where it should be.
Well, years ago, remember, it was 9 inches. Now they say the average is 7 inches. We're at 5 3/4 here at the solstice. Pretty wet.
And the National Weather Service recalibrates what is and is not normal over a period of time because things simply change, and they recalibrated a few years ago. And so when they talk about normal, they use 1981 as their original benchmark because things have changed, and that should happen.
That should happen. One of the things is not just the fact that it is drier; it is hotter. It is. We talked about this in September about how our summers are hotter for longer periods of time, and that really does affect the things you can plant.
For example,
tomatoes. Tomatoes get really pouty when it is more than 86 degrees and when it is less than 60. And this last summer, our nights in August turned into the 50s. And so the tomatoes just started to pout, which means they wouldn't put any more fruit out. None of my figs ever ripened this year for that reason. And when it gets too hot, the tomatoes won't set. So it was a much later crop this year.
All of my tomato growing friends, and I have a lot of them, I know because they give me all their leftover tomatoes that they can't possibly consume. They say they have not had a good tomato year in quite some time. They say it's been 4 or 5 years since they had a really good tomato year.
Heat and early cold.
Okay.
Pretty interesting.
That makes perfect sense of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the holidays, Christmas trees. You buy one, you put they're very thirsty. You can never seem to put enough.
You saw off the end, so that the pores are open, and then you feed it only water.
But a lot of them come with that little fertilizer pack thing. Not the deal.
It will just cause. I believe that those things just add to a rapid growth of fungus and bacteria, which clogs the pores.
And how often do you need to water a Christmas tree? Does it tell you?
Oh, it takes, it's depending on the size of the tree, it can take gallons. Really, truly, gallons a day. And then if you have a live Christmas tree, 3 days max in the house.
And that's it?
That's it. And you have to have the hole dug ahead of time to put it in. Yeah.
So what can you take say a 6-foot-high Douglas fir, dig it up, put it in your house in a pot for Christmas, and then put it back where you found it?
Depends on what. Well, then you'd be breaking a lot of roots.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you can't possibly build a big enough hole when you're digging it up.
You wrote a fascinating article in the Wenatchee World a couple of weeks ago talking about the use of de-icers on sidewalks driveways and stuff. I didn't know about any of this stuff. Recap that for me.
Well, you know, the thing is that we will have ice rather than snow, and so to keep safe, doing de-icers. And there's a number of different kinds of de-icers. They are all salt-based, and most people put down too much, and because they think that that's faster. I mean,
guilty as charged.
More is better, right? All of that, and the little pieces of de-icer should be 3 inches apart.
That seems like it's too far apart.
Yeah, that is what, if you read the back of the bag,
okay.
That's what the instructions say. Okay, it's not too far apart because you aren't melting the whole thing, you're just melting, and then the water, the warmer water, quote unquote, then runs into the other areas. More is going to run into your landscaping, and it's a salt. It's going to damage your landscaping. It's going to damage the conifers. And more means that it doesn't all get used. It doesn't all break down, which means your dog, your cat, your kids walk it in. And if you have a rug rat running around, you know, a baby that is going to be on that carpet with those salts. So just using it like the instructions say.
Yeah, you always talk about that. Read the instructions, because most people don't.
But you know, I was watching my neighbor put it out more lavishly, and he still had like a couple of handfuls left, and he just dumped it. Just right there. I'm just going, okay, that now is going to run into the groundwater, which is going to go into the Columbia. You know,
when you have a sidewalk that butts up against a lawn, is it going to damage the edge of the lawn too? Is it going to?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would be, to me, the obvious thing there, you know.
Exactly.
If you have a lawn that goes, and a lot of people do.
But if you don't put it down in excess, your damage will be less.
How do we keep our houseplants happy when there's very little natural daylight this time of the year?
You know something really interesting? Yesterday, I found scale insects on the back of my plumeria. And this is the time of year in which the insects go, oh, the humidity is low, there's new growth if you fertilize. Okay, now is the time. You do not fertilize any houseplant until March 21st, okay? Because you don't want weak growth, because the bugs love weak growth. And so this is the time, if you want to, you could give your houseplants a bath. In the shower, you could put them in the shower, wash off any dirt or any types of things that, you know, just settle, because insects, again, like to live in amongst dust and things. So that's one of the things. The other is just being very conscientious and looking under the leaves along the veins to see if any insects are starting to set up house.
Should you take your plants like into the bathroom, close the door, run it hot so you have nice and steam, and then maybe clean them that way too? Does that also work? I've heard about that.
Well, the trouble is that's wasting a lot of water.
That's true.
And it's only temporary, you know. I mean, right now we're like at 25% humidity in our houses.
It's bone dry.
It's bone dry, you know, and the plants know that too.
Do indoor plants that are designed to be indoors and not exposed to a great deal of direct light anyway, do they still go through a little dormant period where they just aren't doing a lot?
They do, and most of them are really leathery.
Okay.
Most of them are really leathery, but again, watching very carefully. I mean, you know, you water them once every 10 days, and you know, look under the leaves. And
how often do people do that? And that's such a great deal.
I know.
I can't recall ever, and I've had a lot of houses, but I don't recall ever looking under the leaves. Well, the leaves are on top, you know. It's that kind of deal.
Well, then I bet yours need a wash also.
Probably.
Yeah.
As do I. I haven't showered. I'm joking. My personal hygiene has been described as impeccable. If we have very little snow or no snow, we had a little bit, none of it stuck around. What's that going to do to your yard? Anything at all?
No. No. You know, our ground is so dry as it is. At the end of the gardening season last year, I was doing some digging because I was going to take out some more lawn and make another flower bed. And when I got down to 8 inches, it was bone dry.
That's not very deep.
I've been irrigating all summer.
That's not very deep.
Not very deep. The water. Yeah, and so let's hope we have enough rain so that all of our trees and our, you know, have enough to live.
Before we forget, and we're into the holiday season, if you want to give somebody a house plant as a gift because they live, and you look at it and say, I remember when Aunt Janet gave me that plant 10 years ago. Is there some basic do's and don'ts? Are there some house plants that you can buy that you've got to work real hard to kill them?
I have house plants that are 40 years old. Yeah, I do. I mean, so houseplants can live a long time.
Well, give us a couple of examples that would make great gifts, and you can go ahead and use the Latin phrases if you want. I know you're fluent in Latin.
Okay, but here's the important thing, is that when you take it from the store, if it is less than 60 degrees out, we are not going to have any days that are 60.
No.
If it is less than 60 degrees, ask the clerk to put it in a huge plastic bag.
Okay.
And then have somebody drive the car up to...
So the car's warm?
So the car is warm.
Okay.
Drive up and immediately move from the store into the car, which is warm. Because I had a friend who gave me an elaborate orchid a few years ago. It was 28 degrees. She carried it from the store to her cold car to my house, and all the flowers fell off in about 12 hours.
And orchids are as temperamental as tomato plants, as we.
That's right. Anyway, it was just it's a disappointment to buy a beautiful plant and then have the cold. Truly, it needs to be protected between going from the store to your car.
I'm really allergic to snow mold. It's the only thing that just makes my life miserable with the sinuses and the coffee. Is there any way you can just avoid that? Or is snow mold just a natural part of that?
Snow mold is generally activated on lawns where people have over-fertilized in the fall, or fertilized in the fall, period, I think, And so but then the snow mold goes away in April as soon as the grass starts to grow. But you can keep it out of your yard. But again, the spores are going to be moving around if you have neighbors who have fertilized their lawns in the fall.
Bonnie's place is basically an aviary. The birds love Bonnie's place because you feed them, you take care of them, you give them fresh water. They love your property.
I have places for them to hide and keep warm, at night and things.
Let's give our feathered friends some love, some winter tips for our birds out there.
Okay, right now we do need to be more conscientious about feeding the birds. And because there's another outbreak of avian pox or avian flu, and a few years ago we had a serious outbreak of salmonella, and it killed off all the siskins, essentially. Okay, there's very few siskins now. So the rules for feeding birds: your feeder must be washed every 10 days or every 2 weeks. You take the whole thing apart, wash it, and with bleach water, bleach and soap, and then you hang it back up with food in it. And then, because birds have droppings, they drop food on the ground, but also they leave droppings, excrement on the ground, and the other birds run through that, and if it's an infected bird, it can infect others. So what you want to do is you want to rake up, about every 3 days, you want to rake up all of that stuff and put it off somewhere away from the feeder. You can put it in the trash.
And that includes the seeds that come out of the feeder?
That's right.
Okay.
The feed, the husk and the droppings. And then, even better, you could put a tarp down underneath your feeder. And then you just roll up the tarp, put it in the trash. Wear a mask while you're doing it. Wear a mask, okay? And then put it back out again. And that will keep the birds safe, and it will keep them healthy.
And you want to keep your bird feeders in a place where the birds can safely eat and not have hiding spots for cats, because they will.
I know it. It's terrible. And we have feral cats in my neighborhood, and so I have places where the birds can fly into thickets where the cat can't reach. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's move down as we go through. Look at last year's photos and make a plan. You talk about this every year.
I do.
At this time.
And see, this is a really perfect time to even take photos now, because you can see what your landscape looks like when it is bare, and maybe planting something that's green all winter. Yuccas stay green all winter. Caria japonica stays green all winter, has bright green stems. You could start looking at some things that have interesting bark. Some trees have more interesting bark than others, especially some of the maples, and so you could have more variety.
What's your advice for somebody who's say, buying a brand new house in a brand new development that's never been lived in, and there's zero landscaping, and they're buying it now, in the dead of winter, and they have a blank slate to work with? They can do whatever they want. at any, you know, backyard, front yard, side yard, what's your advice?
Soil, they have to have the soil tested first.
Okay.
They need to know what kind of soil they have, whether they have clay or sand, or if they're lucky, maybe they'll have silt, because there are some wonderful places that have wonderful silt. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to make a plan. Don't just buy things that appeal to you from a nursery. We have a nursery, you know, out at Quincy, but going to the other side of the mountains and buying plants and bringing them over is not necessarily a good choice. There's really nothing to do right now. What I would do if I had a brand new piece of property, I would seed the whole thing with for lawn.
Okay.
Okay, and that at least will keep the mud down, and it will keep the dirt from blowing around. And then I would start just make a plan, and then I would get the plants in April and May and putting them in. And then you can take out as much lawn as you want because it's not turfed, you know.
Right.
So it's really easy to deal with.
And a good landscape architect is worth the money because they know what would go where, would thrive in some locations and not in the others. These people are professional. They know what they're doing.
And also, they would listen to what you have to say about what you want. You know, you want four-season interest, all that type of thing. I'd like to suggest that if you actually do put in a lawn, that you are more conservative with lawns. Lawns are going out of style. Okay. And putting in a clover lawn.
Right.
Okay, clover lawns. Mow once a month, maybe, you know, no fertilizer, no pre-emergence, no herbicides, nothing. So they're so easy to care for.
Let's see, we did all that good stuff. Oh, veggie garden, yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So one of the ways you can have a successful garden is if your veggie garden, it has 8 hours of light. Now, sunlight on the ground, not just kind of light. It has to be actual, because
your veggie garden faces southeast, so it gets a lot of daylight.
No, southwest.
Southwest. It gets a lot of daylight.
Well, and I put it there deliberately.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things I found out is that until about 10:30 during the height of summer, my house cast a shadow over the east side of my garden, so I had to move my vegetable garden over about 3 feet because of the shadow from the house. And you don't normally think about things like that.
Certainly not this time of the year.
Yeah, right. And I didn't think about that. But
right. So if you're going to have a vegetable garden, that's very important.
It has to be in full sun. Otherwise, you're just going to have whippy little plants, and you won't have the produce that you really want. You know.
What else is on? We're running short on time, Bonnie. What else do we need to touch on?
Okay, people are always, they get magazines and catalogs right now, you know, thinking about growing things. If you're going to plant herb seeds like parsley, what you're going to have to do is wait till the end of February, okay? Or Washington's birthday, that's almost the end of February. But don't start any tomato seeds till the end of March, because plants grow for only 6 weeks, and if they grow longer than 6 weeks, they get too whippy and too long, and they never recover. And normally we cannot put things out here until the middle of May. I never plant my garden until the 1st of June because the soil's too cold. The soil is too cold and the roots will be damaged.
When you're going through your little shop drawers and you find all these packets of seeds that you never bothered to plant, are they still good? Do they have an expiration?
I think so.
I'm curious about that.
Okay, so the way you can tell is takes 10 seeds, wrap them in a wet paper towel and cover it with plastic, and wait for 4 days, and then count how many germinated. And if you have at least 5 of them germinated, well, you just plant them twice as thick as you normally would.
And you're good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go.
You're good to go.
I mean, because remember, they have found seeds from the pyramids and they've grown.
Yeah, I think you told me you got a pack like in the Soviet Union like 20 years ago or longer than that, and it's still planted. Yeah. The damnedest thing. Are we done? Did we get everything?
Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so many times people do not know how much fertilizer to put down in their vegetable garden especially, and so they put a lot down and it's unnecessary. You waste product, it gets washed into the ground, water. A soil test. It costs get the good one that cost about $100.
It's worth it.
Okay, it is worth it, and it tells you about all the micronutrients and your soil fertility, and so you know that, hey, I don't even have to put any fertilizer on this year. My plants will be perfectly healthy. More is not better.
We visited the place out in Old Station. Great people out there.
Right.
Two total professionals.
They
know what they're doing.
They're not doing it anymore.
That's too bad.
For the home things. So most of it you can do it online because there's a number of places in the region.
Okay.
You just dig. They tell you how to dig a little container and you send it to them and then they tell you.
One last question, then we'll cut you loose. Bonnie or everybody, give her a big hand before we cut you loose. The Community Education Garden at Springwater and Western up there. What happens to that in December, January, February? Is it still
this is a really great time to go out and see what is looking fabulous, because you can say, oh, I want 4-season interest in my garden, and you can see what is 4-season interest. Obviously there's no vegetables, but there are many other things which are green, some things which are looking like they want to start blooming. Okay, yes, cool. By all means, it's open. It's always open to the public.
Bonnie Orr, everybody. The studio audience loves her. I guess we'll have a great winter. Have a great winter. And I'll see you on the first day of spring.
Indeed, indeed.
Right. Bonnie Orr, everybody. And don't forget, the WSU Master Gardeners, their offices are on Douglas Street. Send them an email if you have any questions at all. They'll answer.
Washington Street.
Washington and Douglas, that intersection, right? Douglas and
King and Washington.
They know where they're at.
We know where we are.
Send them an email. They're easy to find.
That's right. Shalane, mastergardeners @gmail.com.
They know what they're talking about.
And we'll answer it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bonnie Orr, everybody.
Okay.
And we will be right back.
Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
Lose yourself in the magic of the most wonderful time of the year at Cirque Dreams Holidays. This electrifying stage production has captured the imagination of audiences throughout the country. Delight in the holiday season as the world's finest circus artists perform alongside a cast of lovable holiday characters. Sprinkled with high-energy dance numbers and festive holiday music, it's the perfect gift for the entire family.
That's a pretty cool view from our Billy Goat camera because it's up above the clouds and the fog at about 4,300 feet above sea level. It should be above the clouds and the fog. Here in the big city, 36 degrees, still misty, still cloudy. Going to see some sunshine a little bit later on. I just looked at the mountain pass reports, and they're all looking pretty good. It's freezing rain right now at the summit of Stevens Pass, but the roadway is mostly bare. That's going to change. Here's one more little reminder on what you can expect if you're heading into the mountain passes today. Stevens Pass is going to get the most amount of snow. They say anywhere between 7 to 11 inches of snow throughout the course of the day today. So it's going to snow consistently, but not real heavy on Stevens Pass. I don't think it's anything we can handle there or can handle there. No problems at all there. Snoqualmie, you're going to get about 4 to 8 inches of snow. I just checked I-90 at the summit there. They're bare and wet right now, and there's no snow at all really in the forecast for Blewett Pass. And down here on the valley floor, it's going to be mostly rain. Although the snow level is going to go down, by the time the snow level goes down, the system that's coming in right now is going to be gone. So from the National Weather Service, partly cloudy, a little windy. Again, rain not out of the question. And a high of about 41 degrees, 29 for the overnight low tonight. The clouds will be rolling back in. A couple of degrees cooler, not as much sunshine, not quite as warm on Saturday with a high of 38 degrees, 33 on Sunday night for Christmas Eve. A slight chance of flurries. The snow level Sunday night is going to be at 900 feet, but again, no moisture in the air. So it's going to be cold enough to snow, but it probably isn't going to snow. And that's it for us. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. We'll see you Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Hello, North Central Washington, and welcome to another episode of Networked. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, Executive Director of NCW Tech Alliance, where we use this TV show to spotlight innovative minds in our region. Today, I'm really privileged to meet with a local entrepreneur, Edwin Eaton, owner and founder of iPro Building Services, who's been reshaping the janitorial industry with his unique blend of leadership and vision. Edwin began his journey in 2002 during his college years when he found himself involved with a friend's cleaning company. It was an unconventional start, but one that would